According to energy conservation surveys of residential houses in the last few years, 42% of heat loss occurs through walls. That means that the fastest way to keep a house warm is to heat insulate its facade. An inexpensive and effective way is external insulation of facades with plastic foam or mineral wool, which is then covered with plaster. This is what is called the wet method, which is currently the most widely used in Ukraine. Insulation is glued to a flat wall. Then a layer of reinforcing solution is applied, then the net. After a certain amount of time, this layer is primed. After one more day, the finishing layer is applied. According to specialists, if the technology is followed during installation, it allows to save at least 30% of expenses on heating. Foam plastics started being produced in the 1960s, and at the same time the wet-type heat insulation was invented. What is crucial is that people have realized heat insulation is a must. For example, Poland had financed 20,000 projects at the cost of 1.6 million euros by 2010. It was rather easy to organize, because each house had an owner or a condominium. In Ukraine, however, people heat insulated their apartments on their own. Now, high-rises are covered in foam plastic patches. Experts stress that such heat insulation is ineffective, because in 2-3 weeks, wall near the insulated plot frees up. So the only solution to the problem is collecting money from all the neighbors and immediately insulating at least the entire entrance to the building. Nowadays, new houses are heat insulated at the building stage, thus making the lives of new tenants a little bit easier. Builders are doing everything according to the Western technologies, but materials used are manufactured in Ukraine. We're talking not only about foam plastics or glass wool, but also about finishing plaster. A Ukrainian-Swiss plant for its manufacture was built in Ukraine in 2006. The plant workers have first-hand knowledge of the quality of their product and the efficiency of heat insulation technologies they use. They insulated their workshop using the wet method in 2008. Funny enough, the main reason for it was not to save energy, but rather to meet the technology standards, because the plaster must be stored at least at 5 degrees Celsius. In addition, the Swiss investor insisted on energy conservation. The 8-year-old plaster covering the insulation layers hasn't faded. The workshop exterior looks as if it had been recently renovated. Although the main iron door spoils the looks, unlike walls, it should be painted each year. And the main thing is that in 2016, the plant paid 50,000 hryvnias for heating of the workshop, which is 9 meters high and has an area of 600 square meters. However, heat insulation, even the cheapest version, is a costly technology. Therefore, great efforts are made to make it last as long as possible and protect all the energy-saving layers. The manufacturers claim plaster to be the best protection. Plaster is an irreplaceable material in building. It protects any surface from harmful atmospheric influence and levels out walls and corners, turning them into flat, even surfaces. And modern plaster can protect from mechanical damage. A unique Swiss technology created in 1907 is used nowadays to create such plaster in Ukraine. An average of 17-18 different components are used in the manufacturing process. The weight of each ingredient is measured with milligram tolerance. All components are imported. Products are considered eco-friendly because they contain less than 3% of volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs in short, are solvents that evaporate into the atmosphere from the surface of paint or plaster. This red sign on the package means the product is ecologically clean. This implies the product underwent studies in Swiss labs and does not have any harmful properties. By the way, the plant making the final product is included in the chain of ecological control. Therefore, the modern plant built in Ukraine pollutes neither land nor the atmosphere. Each mixing machine is equipped with a vacuum cleaner. The collected dust is gathered, filtered, and put into production again. But despite the fact that all the ingredients are imported, all import duties, taxes, and salaries are paid, the product manufactured in Ukraine has a very reasonable price. Ukraine produces acrylic, silicon, and silicate plasters. All these types have a 20 to 25 years working lifespan. Any colors, any structure are available. But experts are warning, dark-toned acrylic plaster gets softer with time, especially in high-temperature conditions. The outer layer attracts dirt and dust, whereas silicon and silicate plaster is cleaned by rain. Thus, the facade always looks tidy. Ukrainians and other Europeans have somewhat different tastes when it comes to the choice of color. In Europe, they prefer pastel colors, while here in Ukraine, bright colors are more popular. Why is that so? Even experts are unsure. Probably Ukrainians like bright facades too much, even if that means spending more money. The difference exists not only for exterior plaster selection, but in interior decoration methods as well. People in Europe who are used to saving not only money, but also time, try to use easy-to-use materials, and those that have the necessary eco-friendly properties. Acrylic paint for the interior works does not contain any harmful substances. The Swiss are ready to produce such paint in Ukraine, mainly because the housing market in Ukraine is a low competition area. A lot of quality building materials are required. Most foreign businessmen clearly understand it is profitable to invest in Ukraine, so we can hope our domestic plants will start producing high-quality paint for interior works soon, and that Ukrainian houses, just like Ukrainian life, will keep getting warmer and brighter.